Greetings everyone, I'm George Drazic with Efficient AC Electric and Plumbing. Today I'm here to talk about installing a bidet toilet seat. We will have some fun with this topic. These seats have gotten really popular lately and there's many models to choose from. We'll talk a little bit about that, but the point of this is to help you select the type of seat that would work with your toilet and some of the other things that you need to consider before you move forward with this project. We've already done this installation and I'm going to go through what it looks like from the bottom up so that you understand what's involved. Now if you look here, here's the seat that came off, okay? There are two bolts that held this seat to the toilet. We're going to show that in a minute. And there's a distance from here to here. This is an elongated toilet. It's a little over 20 inches long. A toilet that looks rounder is a standard toilet. Those have a different seat that you're going to buy. Most that you're going to buy, however, are this style elongated toilet. This one was made by Kohler. The seat going in is not. And the toilet's not made by Kohler either, but they all are designed to fit. So let's walk in here and take a look at the installation. Now remember I said I was going to go from the ground up, and the first thing you're going to notice is this is a plumbing installation, but we're not going to talk about plumbing. We're going to talk about electricity. Most of the seats that you're going to want to consider, the ones that have heat and heated water and lighting and full controls, are going to need 110 volt power. In this case, we ran a plug to the wall by the commode back here so that we can furnish power to this. In order to do that, we had to find a circuit somewhere in this property to get that power. In this case, we went up from the attic, down through the wall, put in a receptacle. It's a ground fault receptacle, remember that's important, and provide now power to the new toilet seat. All right. So then the next thing we have to think about is where the water comes from. So this is a typical plumbing activity to do. And the water comes from the inlet right here, coming out of the wall, sometimes out of the ground, through a valve. Now is a good time to replace the valve if you don't already have a quarter turn valve. In this case, we had a quarter turn valve, so we were just able to shut off the water. If you've got an old needle valve that works, now's a good time to replace it. When the original toilet was installed, there was a connection from the valve to the tank, and that's it. So there's two connections, valve and tank. In order to do this project, we need 5 connections instead of 2. We have to Y the connection off so we can provide water to the tank and to the toilet seat. So we've got 3 connections there. We've got the connection still at the tank, and we've got a connection here at the new toilet seat. All those need to be reasonably tight so they don't leak. They all have a compression gasket that is tightened, and they are all, high quality fittings in this case. This seat was made by Bidet. It's a very popular model. You can also get one made by Kohler or by Toto or by any of the other ones. It's really about your preference. I suggest read your reviews. Now, when selecting the seat, let's really talk about what we need to consider. Remember the bolts that were on the old seat, those lie in this area right here of the new seat. When you're selecting your seat, make sure you've picked one for, say in this case, an elongated bowl, and make sure you've picked one that will fit within the distance from here to here and still leave you a little clearance to open the seat, it stays, and close the seat. Generally, this is going to work out for all of the 2-piece toilets. This is a standard 2-piece toilet, a couple of decades old, still works great. We have one piece, which is the tank, and one piece, which is the bowl here. And this is a very common application. The more expensive toilets are 1-piece. Sometimes the issue with these 1-piece toilets are that there is a swoop that transitions from the tank to the bowl, and it can interfere with this seat design. So look to your manufacturer's installation instructions and your cut sheet to make sure that this all fits. A tape measure will take care of what you need to assess here. If you have any questions about it, you can always look at the reference materials for the seat manufacturer, and they will generally tell you what it will fit and what it won't. In this case, we did that installation. When the water's off, it's a good time to consider replacing the tank kit in this tank as well. If you haven't done it in a number of years, it's a good time to swap it out. In this case, we didn't swap that out, and we did not swap out the quarter turn valve because they had been done recently and we were ready to go. We even have this nice little shiny new handle on an older toilet. So this looks like it should have looked from very beginning. Function works great, seat works great, lighting works great. One other thing before we conclude, and that's to talk about the controls for this. In this case, we have a remote control. Many of these seats will have a remote control. This one is handy because the main controls are on one side and the detail controls, all the fine-tuning adjustment is on the other side, and you can put it on the wall either way. A remote, yes, you have to replace batteries, but you get the flexibility of mounting it at eye level, keeping it where you want to see it when you're using it. Notice it's kind of low here. Maybe you're not exactly standing every time you're using it, but you've got it on the wall in a place where you can use it. Some of the seats will have a built-in controller to the right or to the left of the seat. I don't like these as much because they're hard to see and they're a little bit harder to figure out what button you're pushing. Either way, this is a great choice. It lets you reduce the amount of toilet paper you're using. If you follow some simple instructions, use a tape measure and think it through, you're going to have a great product and you're going to have a great installation. And if you have any questions, cares, or concerns, we love to talk at Efficient AC Electric and Plumbing. Find us at efficienttexas.com. Bye now.